Meg-a-Latte at the new Fargo location, 5675 26th Avenue South, Suite 100. We are here with special guest, sportscaster, legendary sportscaster, Jack Michaels. How you doing today, Jack?
Cory, time just advanced from 19 something. That's it, right to literally 2025. I thought I was a decent coach. I knew you were a great athlete.
Well, that's probably the extent of it because I wasn't a great baseball player, and you cut me. So that, I mean, it wasn't.
It couldn't have been me. It must have been.
I think it was you, and I think we talked about this before. We couldn't figure out who it was.
It might have been my buddy Tim or Riney or Ryan.
Yeah, it could have been Ryan.
When I was coaching back then, I know that this isn't why you're called, but when I was coaching back then in Williston, a couple of boys from Williston coming all the way over here to Fargo. I remember when I took a bunch of 13-year-olds on a trip, and I think it was Cory was one of the great athletes to ever come out of Williston. I think I was talking with his dad.
They don't think of Cory Fleck when they think great athlete. Right, Cory Emily.
Give me your top four, Cory. Cory. No, but I remember we were on a baseball trip, and I think trying to get Cory to, get more engaged in baseball. I think his dad told me one time, he goes, he just really likes running.
And then he acted really good.
He became, of course, one of the region's best ever. And I said, now it makes sense. I got it. Okay. He's running. Well, good to be with you, Cory. Good to see you.
Thanks for coming and answering my call. And I think I was fast on the baseball field. I could catch, but I just couldn't get catching up to the ball. That was my problem.
Right.
I just can't hit.
Yeah, that's as we sit today, the news came down to the passing of Bob Euchre today.
Legendary.
Yeah, and that's and I thought, he was a lifetime 200 hitter. Always self-deprecating, but I mean, Bob, you're so great on my radio show I do in Fargo. That's on 740 The Fan, 8 days a year. But thanks for the plug. Meg-a-Latte coming down the road.
Yeah.
But yeah, the youth was so good. So I spent half an hour today because of generational people. If we could pick out some of these fine folks that are here today,
they would know probably.
They would maybe know him as the guy in Major League.
Yeah, Major League, Mr. Baseball.
Mr. Belvedere. Maybe some would just know him as the Miller Lite commercial guy. Yeah, but anyway.
Well, yeah, speaking of, I know that was shot when I was driving here today. I saw that come across. Rest in peace, Bob, and that's pretty cool. So another thing that you're known throughout the region, but you were nominated again for the Sportscaster of the Year. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's always just to be. I don't even know how the nominations get in there. We were able to win that a couple of years ago, and I took my daughter's birthday down and go to the ceremonies in North Carolina, and so it's really kind of a fun couple of days to go down there and you sit amongst everybody in the country, from ESPN to Fox to all these people, and they put you at tables together. What state you're from, they mix it up. So I think I was sitting next to Tom Brenneman, a broadcaster with my affiliation a long time before he goes. The old Dodger was my partner for a decade. We had a lot to talk about. But I'm more excited for my girls to meet like Doris Burke from the NBA or Bob Lee from the ESPN. But yeah, Tim Hennessy won that, and Tim's the voice of dear friend, the voice of Unity Hockey. He's 45 years strong.
Wow, that's awesome. So you currently, what are you broadcasting for? I know there's a number of them. I know on UND basketball. We're just talking about that.
I had a game last night with South Dakota with some ladies, and it's so odd, Cory, because people that never want to get in this field, you never know. I started, imitating Lee Halverson, the great Lee Halverson.
So was that who inspired you?
Yes, it was. He gave me my shot, and I copied everything he did, and so we talk about the roots of this, and it's funny, like Meg-a-Latte, what was that genesis? Little did you know that she was going to have shops in Williston and Fargo and Minot. Yeah, Lee was that. So we were I used to imitate him. We'd take charter buses it was never an easy trip, as you know, from Wilson High School. here I was going, and Lee and Gary Knudsen and Jim McPherson or whoever was coaching, Matt, Jimmy Boss, Jim Boss, they'd always sit up front, and guys like myself and Charlie Eater and Tim Adolph and some little committee player and Mike Henderson, we'd sit in the back, and the league would come in, and I was just enamored by this play-by-play stuff. My parents used to record the games on cassette tape. So when I got back from the game, I'd go right to cassette tape and he'd be late on top of the beat. You know, so when he'd come on the bus on trips, I'd duck below the seat in the charter bus and he'd get on and I'd go, I'd just go, hey, top of the beat, come, hands get good in the pound, like hands, baby pound. And he'd get around and Bones, where are you, Bones? So that's how, but yeah, started with that and that's, that kind of got me juices flowing and here we are 32 years later, and I currently do a number of things. Sports director of Midwest Radio Sports in Fargo, where I am here. So it's KFGO Radio and 740 Fan, which is the fifth largest daytime singer in the country, United
That's
States.
awesome.
So it's a good
What time is it?
That's at noon to 1 on the power hour there. And KFGO's morning sports all through the day. And then in the fall, I had done North Dakota State. But as things work in the industry, sometimes, the contract comes and goes, sometimes they have for a long time. So our contract shifted over. So we no longer had the Bison. And so I was doing the issue for many, many years with my partner, the late Scott Miller, who was tremendous. He passed in 2016. And I moved to Bismarck. My daughters at the time were going to elementary school, so I took a hiatus from my career in Fargo, went to Bismarck. We did a lot of U-Mary play-by-play, and then came back in 2011. I started KFGO in the early 90s here in Fargo. But in 2001-ish or 2-ish, 6-ish, 2006, moved to Bismarck. We're doing that. In 2011, UND had called and asked if I would be their voice football. And I thought, wow, the old Bison guy played at North Dakota State. You've been podcasting for NDSU, and I'm like, ooh, can you legally do that in North Dakota? Can you podcast for a rival and all that? But
I'm a UND grad, but
right.
also like
So and I'd have my friends with UND. I probably should have, because Brian Kraft recruited me for baseball. But it's like, come to Fargo, be a Bison. But gladly, I said yes. So I came back to Fargo in 2011 as their sports director of our stations. And then also my company in Fargo allowed me to say, yeah, don't be the voice of UND. So I've been doing football there since 2011. So that's how 14, 15 years as the voice of them. And then at basketball. And then the summer, of course, I'm a baseball junkie. So started a little team here in Fargo, pro baseball, in 1996.
Okay.
Called the Red Hawks. And it's a good brand of AA type baseball, AA, AAA at times, but it's independent. But it's your original voice, and still in there today.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That was 96, and I took hiatus on that too, and I moved. But yeah, so between football at UND and basketball at UND.
Are you still doing high school sports at all?
Yeah, it diminished a little bit with my schedule now, but we have a great thing about it. We find some young broadcasters that are in our pool that we develop, and now like me imitating me when I was a teenager.
They're imitating you.
They're now coming up, and now that shows you get older when other kids are. But that's so I still do, and if I got time for state tournaments and other things, love every bit of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So before we get into the sports, we love talking sports. We want to thank Meg-a-Latte for sponsoring this and having us on, and plug out to my favorite drink, salty caramel mocha, dark chocolate with cream, and you're drinking.
I went because I'm starting to develop a relationship with coffee a little bit more. And thank goodness for Meg-a-Latte, because my man Oliver back there and Isabel and the crew, they're
doing great.
They're doing fantastic. So I went with the house blend, and I know that it's simply this. It's the same thing like when I go to eat, if I take time with my daughters or with somebody, and you know how you order something, and then somebody orders something, And you like yours, but you tend to like everybody else. That's got, when you got your salted caramel with the whip, yeah.
You want me to get you that one too?
I mean, I'll be up all night, which is fine. Anyway, but yeah, Meg-a-Latte, I'm really proud of this place is beautiful.
Yeah, well, thank you. I did the easy painting, can't take credit for the creativity of, it was actually my sister and her husband, Eddie. I can do the black and the gray, but all the other stuff, I'm not that talented.
This is a country. Why did we have these when I was in college? And we had the donut hole. In Williston, that was our lunch. I go to the donut hole across the street.
Have a slice of pizza? Did they have it when
I don't think they had pizza. I mean, you drive van and then end up at the donut hole in
You
Williston.
guys still turn around at parties?
Yeah, Hardy's in the depot, and then you come back and then around you bring Simonson's, we come back and then, yeah. Boy, now we're talking old school.
Well, since we're turning back the clock a little bit, and you've touched on it a little bit, what are some of your best memories growing up?
Boy, I got really lucky because the block I lived on, and everybody should be proud of where you grew up. Bloom where you're playing, right? With your feet on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And on 13th Avenue and 11th Street, where we lived for a long time, and then moved a little bit out of town after that. But for my total upbringing, I thought I just fell backwards into the best block ever. And the reason I say that is because everybody had some children. You know, they're all kind of in the age group, and you'll get 5 in our family. And as you went down that block, and I'll get in trouble if I start naming, I'll probably forget something.
But you went outside, you guys just
I
played.
had everybody to play with. And you had the Reinhardts across the street, then you start going down the Heinerts and the Adolphs, and you start going through the Emerys, and everybody had children, the McNairys. And I go down the block, and here's the other thing. We're back there at my backyard. The field's like 3 and 4 every softball diamonds. There was a sledding hill there, in the winter for you. Fields, one of the Legion Park was there, Davidson Park. You had hoops, you had horseshoe pits. My family liked horseshoes, so we had that. I literally thought, is everybody like this? Because and we never stayed inside.
Yeah, we were the same way. I was more closer to the east side, or I guess on Wilkinson, 2th Street, Crest Street there, but
I went to school, Wilkinson Elementary.
Wilkinson Wolverine.
Over the green and white, the Wolverine.
They're changed now,
Oh.
They're busy bees or something. Or bees, yeah, I don't know.
Like the wolf, this PETA?
I don't know, but
I'm not sure many people have Wolverines and outfits.
I think they're gonna change it back. I talked to the principal, I don't like it, but.
The first hoop I dunked on, then I realized it was a 5-foot hoop. That's pretty good.
I can dunk on that hoop. Everybody talking about.
My sisters were throwing it down. But yeah, that's growing up on that side, and I just thought, that's it. I'm playing with house money.
Yeah.
We never didn't know how big the house was. We were a modest family.
For sure. That's those are some good times back then, and let's switch maybe just a little bit. Obviously I'm a basketball guy. 1 to 3 highlights of playing basketball at WHF. You've mentioned a couple names there.
Boy, I'll tell you a quick run. And for big parents and children, that goes now everything's changed for you. Everybody's like being specific about it. My kid's gonna be a volleyball star. That's all they're playing. Being everything. But I remember City League in Williston, City League.
The old Armory.
That or at the college at Williston State. So on Sundays, when I was young, maybe middle school to maybe a freshman, our job, myself and Charlie Eder, another great name, Charlie Dearman, great player. We kept score of the City League and ran the clock on Sundays for the guys that came in and played basketball City League. And I tell people over here in the East, in North Dakota, and everybody has their pockets of great athletes. But I said, you don't realize the City League in Williston play. You had the late Bob Waldo, former Nick, Cabot Anderson, late Cabot Anderson, former Bull, You had, you know, the Wade Lears and the Alexander group that came over, the late Jim Bosler and his group in town. Lance Olson and, you know, it was some of the best, you know, track coach, Al Canute, Canute.
Yeah, Al
I watched him come in and dunk with cowboy boots on, that's just getting warmed up. I'm like,
I've never seen. I remember watching you guys. I've never seen Al with playing hoops with cowboy
Charlie and I are freshmen, and that's all we do is keep score of these guys' games, and I took it another level. I was just enamored by how great. I'm like, my God, Tom Peters. Anyway, so I do stats level games too, and then I go to my dad's office at Blue Cross and Blue Shield and rank the leading scorers. I get out tonight, but I'll tell you, memory close to high school, and I didn't know, and I was lucky enough to start for several years and played on some really good teams, coached by him. Tom Peters pulled me aside. He was on the city league, and he pulled me aside one day as their city league just done, and I was about ready to go home. He goes, "What are your goals for next year?" And I was a freshman. And I said, "Well, my goal is, you know, 15 up." So I'd like to. It'd be nice to make the varsity. Get called up at a practice with, but never. So I'd like to make the varsity. And I remember him, Tom Peters, looked me in the eye and said, "Your goal should be to start for the varsity team." And I never knew it. It went in my head.
Yeah.
And I remember, and lo and behold, as a sophomore, I started for the varsity.
That's awesome.
And it took some of the plan, but memories like that,
Stick with you.
they stick with you. And I told Tom that at a church in Bismarck, North Dakota, years later, like several years ago. He didn't remember that, but I had to share that with him because
it was significant for you.
It just changed my whole thought process.
Yeah, you guys had quite the team. That's I think where I started to grow to love basketball. You guys played such as a team and were just such competitors and drew huge crowds.
A lot of height. We were so tall.
We didn't call it the field back then, but it was
He was so tall, and everybody, you know. Mike Henderson, who coaches at Fargo South here, you know Mike, your friend.
Yeah.
You know, he just tells stories to his Bruin kids and whatever. He said, "Yeah, you should on our teams. You know, people like mine, we played Bishop Ryan, they were Class A then." He said, they would stop, Greg Limpy's a friend of mine, he goes, "We used to stop our warm-ups and watch you guys dunk." You know, we were so tall.
Yeah, you guys were.
Another story, you know, Virgil Hill, good friend, instead of birthday, he was happy birthday, Virgil, mixed over to that Meg-a-Latte, what I got, you get that. Virgil was a senior, I suppose, I was a sophomore.
Okay.
And Virgil, another great memory I have at Wilson High School. And you remember the old gym, like you had track and field, you had pole vaults hanging out, everybody used the field house for everything. And Virgil must have been done with some workout that he was doing, and he picked up a ball in the gym, and boom, boom. What's up? He's like nodding towards the rim, and I really dunk much, yeah, a little bit, and I'm trying to get up 6 foot. I was probably 6'3" then, and all that. Now I got more pounds than height, severely more. But Virgil threw me an alley-oop, and I dunked it, and I thought, it's kind of like my first alley-oop, and it came from Virgil. I remember we had Phi Ed class together, and who knew what Virgil was going to become? Who knew what we were all going to become?
Yep.
And I distinctly remembered Phi Ed one morning after that.
George Hampton.
George Hampton was the man, yes. And Virgil and I were getting like tennis shoes on for Phi Ed, and I looked at him, or he looked at me with that dumb face and goes, "You're going to be in the NBA someday." And I quote Cory, I looked at him and I said, "I'm going to watch you in the Olympics someday." And we're kind of doing this, just throwing it out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not in the NBA.
But he could ask.
But he was a silver medalist and
Yeah,
should have been a gold. But these are things I remember from like high school.
That's pretty cool. I remember him warming up at Wilkerson track, or running at Wilkerson track, right next to our house. And how about playing baseball? What were some one or two highlights there, or favorite or most memorable coach?
People ask me to broadcast so many different sports. What do you love the most? So it's like asking me which one of my identical twin daughters do I love the most. But I always say if you cut my veins open, baseball would bleed out. There's something about that. It's a subtle sport. It's a great sport. Dennis Healy. taking us those early morning workouts and sticking us on the fence line, the 315 down the line there. They're now off at stadium. But those early mornings where we would just stand at the wall and we would blast balls at us, right? And you're knocking, sorry, pop your question, knocking them off your chest and doing that. And then his desire and just, and the camaraderie, and then the little dugout at the stadium that looks like a World War I foxhole that used to, but and just great teams that you play. I mean, you just live. Again, non-baseball. Again, where my house was, where we lived on that block, you could hear the PA system from the stadium. Baseball. Because again, it's right across the field, right?
Yeah.
And back when my brother played. And when you do the infield, outfield, for some, you know, you gotta have good music. We used Abacab by, anyway. Williston High, my brother's era, they used to play dueling banjos for their infield outfield. And I know from my bedroom, when I heard that, I'm like, and I ran out of the house because I knew that they were taking infield, the game was about to start. But anyway,
that's an awesome memory there, and such a cool place at Office Stadium. That I don't know when they named it.
It's an absolute jewel. We don't know. Again, I've lived in Fargo since '38, and I don't live too far from Jack Williams Stadium, which is another beautiful stadium.
Yeah, for sure.
The longer I move along this world, the more I appreciate my home. And what we have.
Yeah, and certainly it's changed some, but certainly those things are still there, or at least some of those gyms and the office stadium. And how about you're just a little bit, because we didn't talk only sports there, but favorite teacher or memorable events in school? It doesn't have to be kind of sports. I'm a teacher.
I love a lot of them. I always, we type so much. Oddly enough, Mr. Benson's art typing. Did you realize that, and typing had this connotation, like typing. I'm so glad I took the typing class. Still using it. FDSH space, AKL semicolon. I know my home road to this day because of Mr. Benson. Hank Siglowski at driver's ed, was awesome. Larry Larson taught a futurism class.
Legendary Larry.
Larry Larson. I mean, there are just so many to go through over there. Gary Knudsen was a mad genius from math.
I was lucky to have a few years in May. I had like Gary for sure. How about switching gears a little bit on personal development? 2 things or attributes that your parents instilled in you?
I'll tell you, I guess purpose. You gotta live a purposeful, what are you doing? What are you motivating here? What's your purpose? Every direction, how do you, to this day, I think everybody has bad days, but I always remember that my folks, they just advance. They don't let that linger. They always, moving on the next day. There's something forward thinking and being able to history, understanding history, getting along with people, just how you impact that kind of stuff. Dad was a storyteller. Lost Dad a couple years ago. Storyteller. When he spoke, it was like, it's going to be more like that. Mom, you could be your biggest fan. Parents were our biggest fans.
I remember
children's biggest fan.
Your dad was maybe my Sunday school teacher one years.
Faith-based, having a strong foundation, it still is to me to this day. I listen to as much contemporary Christian music as I do to feel that, but that kind of stuff, I look at some of how people reacted to my parents, like how did they, I always thought, it's kind of neat, how like, they must respect that, they listen to that. So, that kind of stuff,
Yeah, for sure. And, speaking of family and stuff, 3 daughters, and I don't know how much you want to share, but what were some more, memorable moments that you shared in sports or out of sports?
Oh, yeah, Sam and Cam, and it's like, one Samantha, identical twins, they're now 20, they were born in 98, so they've been 7. Holy cow. My daughter Cameron had their 26th birthday, and Sam, Dad, I'm going to tell people, I'm getting up there. I'm going to tell people I'm 23 or 22. I'm like, go ahead, I'm 50. Go ahead, tell them 20. Sorry, Sam and Cameron, I mean, my existence is for them. Just for them. But Sam's in Hawaii. She lives in Hawaii, and Cameron lives in Denver. Yeah, that's the thing. But they're just good young girls. They never ask for anything. They never expect anything. They just, their memories, them playing sports or not, or just something to like. They played at Century High School, so they were volleyballers, and 4 years on the varsity there, and I became just a fan, not a sportscaster, just a fan of them. But more so than that, I think they just developed into really good young ones. They have their mom Shannon, Clay, Eli. Just we have such a good bond, all of us together. It's really good. But yeah, I'm really proud of them. I love their development. They're working their way through life. They each have a guy in their life, and is that going to be? I don't know.
Yeah, we can certainly tell you're proud of them. That's awesome.
And they're tall. Yeah.
You're probably taller than me.
I don't know how you are. 5'11", 6.
Well, yeah, I think I'm 5'10".
I was the master of the bun growing up.
Yeah.
Late for school. Like, here, let Dad do your hair.
Coaching girls, I don't know if I can do the bun. I can do the ponytail.
It's the ponytail, but I did a little flip on it, that stuff, That's good.
Okay, switching back to sports for just a little bit here. Favorite comeback story in sports of all time? What comes to your mind?
Like in general?
Just in general, I mean, any sport, it doesn't matter.
There are individual comebacks that are pretty wild.
Go down that line, that's right.
Golly, and I broadcast for 32 years of athletes that I've seen. Recently, there was a Red Hawks player, former Marlins product, but he was playing with, little did he know, like a broken leg and a torn meniscus, and he just hit a ton, and never faced him. Comeback teams.
The big one, isn't it?
Those are good questions. I think I just go back to our days and list of comeback stories. I remember us playing Grafton in the state tournament, opening round, North Central Conference, and they never.
North Star,
yeah.
Grafton's Warriors.
Didn't have a guy with 6 feet, but all of them, a couple of them went to Minnesota, the football players, the kickers. We used to joke that, we were like 6'5", 6'7", 6'8", or we're going to kill these guys.
Yeah.
And then we were down, I think, 10-0. We couldn't throw the ball against them. That was a comeback, a little bit. Ended up winning the game.
I think I remember that. That was broadcasted, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, in 85, and then played North. But there's just so many great comebacks. I'd have to just, broadcasting for North Dakota, down by 17 just as recently against Montana, the Grizzlies, a while back. And came back on a second half series. But yeah, Cory, that's a loaded question. I've broadcast probably over 4,000 games.
Yeah, no, that's I was going to ask you that too. I remember, keeping track of games. He was a guy that did so many games after Lee. And he counted like 8,000 how many games he did.
Yeah.
But do you count?
I don't, and my friends like Gary Rogers here in Washington used to. And then Gary had a book at the end of it. Gary was like Ralph. He was the voice of rock forever. And he would say, he'd get done with the broadcast and say, well, that'll do it tonight for the Huskies basketball. They're wrapping it. And by the way, that's game number 3,240. Then you always say, oh, guess I'll keep doing it till I get it right. That was his.
Yeah.
I suppose it's over. It's a baseball schedule. When you've been doing that for something 2 decades, and there's 100 to 120 games a year, so take 25 times 120, and that's just baseball alone.
Yeah, that's a lot of games.
I will say this, you know, I mentioned a man that I dearly love that I also lost literally within 2 weeks of my father passing. And I talk about Cory Wilson all the time. I keep his name up to one of the greatest Dodgers of all time. Both Ty Cobb stole a baseball. And 10 years of me driving together up and down, you know, it was so odd for his phone would ring, and he'd go, the second guy, maybe like Sandy Copeland. You know, his phone would ring, he'd tell me the story. Hold on a second, Tommy, Dr. Jack, I gotta get something out of the glove box. You know, and then I'd go, hey, Tommy, how you go? But Maury, you know, when he was breaking Ty Cobb stole a baseball. It's a year after Roger Maris broke Babe Ruth's home run record. So 61 Maris, 62 Wills went on first stop. And so Ford Frick was the commissioner of baseball. And Ford was one of his old school guys. He was a Ruth guy. He was a Ty Cobb guy. He was that. He wasn't about Maris breaking a record. Or Wills. That kind of commissioner. And Maury was closing on Ty Cobb stolen baseball. And Maury's like, all right. And then Ford Frick said, remember, he's got to do the same number of games that Cobb did. And Maury said, that's all right. Well, how many did 154? Ooh, and I learned a day or so to do this. Because how many do I need? I need 2. All right, well, just throw them on. They're playing like Philadelphia. Well, that guy can still blindfold that guy. Well, then they switched the pitchers, and then they put a guy in that was the toughest to steal off. And Maury and I used to talk about this on the podcast. And Maury said, I think he said, so he stole a bag, and now he's sitting on the rack. And now if you can imagine, Dodger Stadium back then, 60,000 Olympic Stadium. Somebody's like, yeah, go, the pressure that's on you to steal a base, and he's leading off, and somebody goes, yeah. That guy threw over, I think it was 13 times in a row. Nowadays you can't do that because baseball changed that rule. But 13 times in a row they tried to pick him off. And they kept slapping the tag down harder each time and harder each time and harder. And on the 14th, he took off and won the race. So as far as comebacks, I don't know if that's a comeback. It's a heck of a,
That's a heck of a story.
heck of a story. When he tagged out. Then he went on to steal 104 bags and got the record.
Yeah, that's awesome. I never do that.
You're traveling with one. I mean, you talk about being blessed. Traveling one of the legendary Dodgers of all time. I want that now. I love him like that. Brother,
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's awesome. Speaking like the records and stuff, what are your thoughts on getting there at the 61? I mean, Barry Bonds, and where does he fit into all that, or what's your
boy, I'll tell you, and that's like, we always hear should be Rose be the Hall of Fame. You know, all these guys, and there wasn't, we didn't know anything about this. I think I would answer it this way, you know, but somebody says, yeah, should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame? And I was thinking, well, if I go to Cooperstown, excuse me, NFL, Cooperstown, I would expect to see something from Pete Rose in it. You know what I mean? Very Bonds, yeah. Was it extreme? Was it layman? Was it, you know, what? There wasn't really any rule. You know, who knew back then? We didn't know what steroids all about. How many pitchers run? So they consider that does kind of cut his integrity. So should they get a lot of things? I'd expect to see something that Bonds in there.
Yeah, maybe an asterisk.
Right, whether it be that, or its own way. They put this era of baseball. You know, it's so tough, and the lines got so blurred in sport.
Yeah, it was fun to watch at the time for sure.
Well, I remember, you know, in '98 when that race was on, it was the year my daughters were born. What a summer. You know, the Red Hawks here locally won one of the greatest records of all time. Obviously, that summer, you know, between McGuire and Sosa, and then knowing the Maris family, you know, it's been a lot of time. Roger Jr. and Pat Maris, such a saint. You know, just watching that Mark McGuire, tears in his eyes, he embraced the record, and it was so nice to the Maris family. And then we find out, and it's just, I know here in the area, here in Fargo, there's only one person that still has, well, Aaron Judge now is involved, and he's a really good guy.
Yeah, that's good stuff there. How about favorite sports movies? I know there's a bunch.
I'll go back. You know, when we talked about Bob Uecker passing, you know, how close it is. But going back to my partner Maury, if you go and watch The Sandlot, see the movie The Sandlot.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That takes place in the summer of '62. And underneath that, the version, that's the year that Gil's broke cop. And if you look at the last two, if anyone gets Gil's home, the third base coach is Cory Will. I used to joke with Cory Will. You still get that movie is so well done. The Sandlot, to me, Field of Dreams, if you don't tear up, I don't know if you have a pulse, I mean, or emotion in your body. Bull Durham, if you really want to understand it, minor league, some of this.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You know, that's good. But in Major League, you want a good comic relief and fun. But to me, The Sandlot is me, you know, going down to the flex and meeting at Davidson's Park and playing stickball, grabbing it. That to me, it just is absolutely, you know, took place in '62.
So many people can relate, and they could, you know, you're maybe a little older than me, a little bit, but that time you can go find people, go find a game to play, and then that'd be baseball. I remember playing baseball.
And remember the biggest thing, and they captured this in the movie. Who has the ball? Who has the ball? Like, remember, we just had a ball. Like, the Warriors got the ball, go for the ball. I know where the ball is. Yeah. That's it. I am a sucker, not just because Maury's in it, but I'm a sucker.
Yeah. Another real, I was thinking about this one, you know, movies, and I like Slapshot. Slapshot's a funny show.
Yeah, it's sports. I've watched it so many times. Again, I'm on a bus half my life.
Yeah.
And back when from VHS that you put a movie in to now it's on our phone.
Yeah.
I've probably watched Slapshot easily 79 to 83 times.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The hands. Jim Cory.
I kind of allude to this a little bit. What advice? Well, there's two questions here for young people. What advice would you give for high school athletes that want to play college sports?
Number one is don't think, and if it's your parents telling you, just say, no, I want. If you are involved in many sports, I think that we missed the boat, and I get it. Everybody NIL money, and everybody wants to do. Everybody wants to special and be great at one sport. And the problem with that to me is that you miss out on so much. I'm a firm believer that multiple sports complement each other. Track and field complements this complements that. And when you agree with that, and so I think
It's more uncommon.
one piece
Especially
of
the bigger schools.
yes, one piece of advice. If someone is just railing you saying you gotta don't do this and you should just stay with this and do this, with all due respect, I would say diversify. I think a lot of sports complement each other, and I think have the goals are set your goals, dream big, all of that stuff is good, but understand it's not overnight. I think we miss out on the class. Same thing with my business. I think young broadcasters today hear highlights and they hear that cherry on the top. They go to their outs, they hear the home run call, or the back to the front, swung out, hit high in the air to the right field, hit right. They hear all that. But the money is in the work. Too much progress. The progress. The play-by-play is same thing in sports too. It's the gym at 5 in the morning. Craig Eagle staff. Struck 40 in Alabama. The other, how about that by yourself? The nation saw it. Jordan Wilhelm just coached at Bismarck High. I was talking to Jordan a while back about Trey, who plays for UND. Eagle staff is a tremendous young man. He dropped, I think it was 50 plus in a high school game. And Jordan Wilhelm was coaching at Bismarck High won this a few years ago. And Trey had called his coach and said, Jordan, can you open up the gym? And Wilhelm said, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. You just said to me last night, get off your feet. I don't want to. Because no, he kept history and open the gym so you get some shots off before school. That's what it went down. I'm like 40 East Alabama on a national stage. But it's not, it was the get up at 5
Right, it wasn't just that night, all of a sudden.
Right, that's how that happens, so, that to me is like that, and the broadcasting, it's the same thing, the money is in 2 balls, 1 strike, and how many collectors, pitch outside, it's a beautiful day today, you're not working.
Putting in that time exactly.
It's all that stuff.
And it's so cool to see the progress of it. And I am not any of those. I sat in with Mike Intruder from Williston there the other day. You guys have a craft that's so cool. I'm not anywhere like it. It's fun to be part of it. It's fun to talk to you. But it is a craft, and any of those things, it just takes time.
If you want to be good at anything, if you want to make the best house blend Meg-a-Latte coffee, which I think.
You gotta get you
You know
different.
what? You know, Oliver's not back there just taking a shot.
No.
You know, he's like, that looks good, take it. No, they actually, your sister, Noah, actually put a little time into
Yeah, oh yeah,
to make
she's
good
got it
product,
down.
right?
She's got the process down, and things are phenomenal.
Right.
And going to this other question, because it kind of touched on a little bit, guidance or pointers to young people wanting to get into sports broadcasting. So, what would be? I mean, obviously the practice at the time, but what would be some steps? I mean, it's not a lead over, so that you can Wilson, it was easy for you.
Right. I think number one, you know, be willing to do anything to get it put the door in the shop, all of that, right? I just spoke at a University of Nebraska sports class a couple weeks ago, 90 minutes. Maybe I should have been a teacher, Cory, I don't know.
I think you would have been a great teacher.
It's an 8 o'clock in the morning class, and I spoke for 90 minutes to these young broadcast students. They're getting into everything. Whether it be television or print, or they want to be sports information directors, they want to be sideline reporters. And they were very attentive, and they had to say, you know, they took Q&A for the last half hour. And that was one of them, that was the question, you know, what are you doing, right? And I went through the room to see what each one of them was doing. The willingness to do anything and everything, to start here, and that number one. You can't, if you're going with the mindset, like, I want to be, you know, Scott Van like, wrong mindset. Your ability to work. Number two, and I come from teachers. If you want to be a broadcaster or on air, increase your vocabulary. There is nothing, you know, don't increase your vocabulary. Have a big vocabulary. Learn words, learn phrases. Increase your vocabulary. Understand, because when your brain works, when you're watching the game, you know, we all black on the way to Michael, nobody block, down the road to Henderson, outside, you know, in the paint, outside the arc, on the elbow. And, you know, all these prepositional things that paint pictures in my field of vision. You need a vocabulary to do that. Otherwise, you're saying the same thing over and over, and you're redundant, and that doesn't work. So, increase your vocabulary. If it's baseball you're after, learn a second language. Learn Spanish. If I had to go back and do it over again, I've had to learn through a lot of the Latin players cast forward. I've had to pick up Spanish just to communicate. So increase your vocabulary, learn another language, be willing to start anywhere. And once you get your foot in, just continue to polish and the process.
Yeah, that's some great advice. So what you're saying, certainly, when you're English, knowing your other writing, shooting, doing your writing.
Right, same thing. Yeah. How do you phrase it? And it's just so, it's so important. Don't be confusing people. Know the sport, you're broadcasting. You can only fake it for so long.
Right.
You mentioned Tim Hennessy earlier. Now, I could probably do hockey, but I didn't play hockey. I'm a sports show host, so I gotta know. But I think if I broadcast hockey, I'd have to really go into all of the different nuances of it to bring it. Because I'm not gonna fool on it.
Yeah, tougher to sell, really, a lot of practice.
Right, if I'm gonna paint a picture, I better know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, that's some good stuff. Anything else with that?
I'll tell you one quick time that I know is, full lines are open. I'll tell you something about like the human mind. I'm not any bully, you know, 4.0 summa cum laude guy, you know. But I'll tell you something about it. And this is amazing. I was driving with my youngest twin, but she was probably 12 or 13. One of the rare times that the twins were together. Sam went back and she was coming with Dad to a UND game against Montana. And here's how great your mind can be. And we sell ourselves short. So I'm driving. We're in Bismarck and we're driving too far and we're going to Vancouver. So I got a game against Montana the next day. And she looked at my back seat, Dad, what's that? I said, that's called a 2D. What's that? I said, well, it's the starter and then the backup at each in positions in football. They're called 2D. What do you do with that? I said, well, I got to memorize that because, you know, you don't want to do the misplays that we got to look at that.
Yeah, for sure.
She goes, you have to memorize these guys, all of them? I said, well, at least, you know, 20 per team. So roughly 40 of those guys I should know number and name, position. And she was enamored by this. I said, sweetheart, you don't realize that how easy that is. No way. You can do it. No. I'm like, you could, no. And we were in Western Valley City. We were between Bismarck and Valley City on I-94. I said, we should try. Really? Yeah, we should try. Now, the night before, not just to drop names, but I'm over at my good friend Juno Pintar's house, former Mr. Basketball.
Yeah.
Juno's one of my best baby Kim and wife. Beautiful people. And that night before, we had ordered crab. We had some crab. Rarely we get a little crab, but a special night.
Yeah.
Well, Juno's daughter, Taylor, former track and cross country runner, Taylor doesn't like sushi, right? So we were trying to force her to eat. So you don't know what you're missing. Crab, butter this thing up and no, please, come on, my girls are eating. Taylor said, fine, I'll try one. And took a bite of crab and puked it up on the top. Right to it. Now, fast forward, I'm with my daughter Cameron. We're driving. Believe, trust me, there's an end to this. Dad, how do you memorize the two dollars? I said, well, let's start. I pulled out, and pull up content, it's too deep. I said, all right, well, let's start with the offensive line. You don't say their names a lot, but you need to know. You need to know the quarterback and the running back. They get the ball more. I said, let's start with the line, should we? Whatever, whatever it is. I said, well, let's start with the tight end. Yeah? I said, well, number 81. Okay. What's his name? Taylor. I said, think about this. His name is what? Jake Taylor. What? Jake Taylor. What's the point? I said, well, what number is he? 81. I said, remember this night when Juno's daughter Taylor ate one crab and threw it up? Taylor, 8-1. Taylor, 8. And this is how I started with her. And I said, let's go. She's like, oh. I said, who's the left tackle? His name was, I think it was Tim Pool, P-U-H-L. Or number C. Number 2. I said, well, that's warm enough to swim, right? Cool. 72. I went through all this. By the time we got to Valley City, I took her to the basement, threw in the back seat. I said, you ready? What? The name is started from Montana. Let's start with her line. And I went through and I said, who's her tight end? She goes, Big Taylor. What number is it? 81. She went through 11 names.
That's awesome.
Isn't that amazing what your mind can do?
Yeah.
A simple word association.
Yeah, I know that's great advice.
And I do that to this day before every game.
Yeah.
I connect that with from dad.
And it's so important when you're watching. And certainly doing the play-by-play, we know the players.
It's amazing to me that your mind use about this much.
Yeah.
When you're memorizing 40 names, you have to do that. I take 2 days out of a week before a football game and do that. Just that alone. Back to the preparation.
Yeah, being prepared. Being prepared. No, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. So let's go this way a little bit, and then maybe we'll wrap up. I know you got to get going. I got to get going. What are 1 to 2 things that most people don't know about Jack Michael that you could share?
Number 1, I can bend my little finger back to the wrist. Is that on?
Yeah, that's
can you do that?
I can't.
Is that on camera? Can you see that finger all the way back? That I literally have microcarpet, which but I think arthritis is probably setting in by now. But
You're right, Andy, right? Yeah.
no, right-handed, it left that. That's an odd one on that. Number 2, I can do the splits. Not probably now, but I could for many, many years, up until I was about, I can do the splits. That's an odd thing over there. I can't sing. That's something Dad's in choir, sister sings, mom plays the piano, plays the accordion, all my sisters play instruments. My brother's a good singer. But I love to sing.
I like to sing. I'm not very good at it. It's just an audience of one.
I have, I think probably everybody else nowadays, if you need to get married and need an officiant, I've been doing that for many years. And we had, a couple of years ago, we had a good ball player, professional ball player from Venezuela, and his better half, his girlfriend's from Colombia. And Manny, Manuel Boscan's his name. And after the ball game one day, he said, Jack, did you Manny? Manny? And I'm like, what, Manny? Hey, Manny. I said, Manny, and I what? and I realized he asked me, can I marry him and I said, oh, yeah, sure. Like soon, like after the season, but no, like this weekend. Well, it turns out her visa wrapped up. They had to get married quickly, so I married Danny and his beautiful bride on a boulevard outside Moorhead, Minnesota's like wedding department, DMV, on a boulevard, and I did a little bit in Spanish, grabbed some Corinthians, dropped a good scripture, and then we went to Denny's for the post game.
I think that's a great spot.
Denny's and had a grand slam breakfast.
Yeah, that's a grand slam.
So there's something you don't know about me. I married my niece after shares. But yeah, that was something.
Yeah, those are some grand slams right there, Dan.
Who's gone to Denny's for their wedding meal?
Well, yeah.
I did. And they're still married today.
That's awesome.
Well, I don't know. That's a little something.
Well, that's yeah, absolutely. Blessings to those people and all the people you marry for sure. Well,
Yeah, I'm up to like 3 or 4 right now. I'm doing pretty good.
Well, thanks for taking the time today, Jack.
Yeah.
Appreciate the time here. Thank you, Megan. Meg-a-Latte.
Meg-a-Latte. I haven't promoted her. I still say I didn't cut you from the, I didn't do
Yeah, I wish I could have kept playing. I didn't have the skills for sure. But,
No, this is awesome. I love this. This is like my new swing by joint here in Fargo here.
Yeah,
what
a place. It's a great location and a great looking place inside. Come on and see it as soon as you can. Thanks for being with us today.
Coffee with Cory.